Dun, 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 dun. I'm trying to find the page. What are... Okay, we starting. Okay, so we went over chapter 17 to 20 last week. So now we're going over chapter 21 to 24. Chapter 21 is consulting the oracle. This kind of like
basically most of the 21st one. I actually didn't get to read that one because you said it's basically about the tarot cards.
Do me a solid. When you're young, cover your mouth with your hand.
Okay. But yeah, the tarot cards.
Yeah. So these next chapters are all about the tarot cards, kind of. Chapter 21 is consulting the oracle, your very first reading. And this basically gives you like a guideline on how to start your reading. You take a bath, of course, put on clean clothes. When you spread a new cloth, preferably white and or blue or both. The blue is supposed to be promoting your throat chakra and communication and communicating with the deities or the ancestor that you're supposed to be communicating with. I know white is the color of purity, spiritualism, intuition, all that fun stuff. So I think it's just pretty much the symbolism of colors, because colors are basically frequencies. So if you're a frequency, you're saying frequencies, and you have specific color frequencies, all of that added together does a lot. Hola, Ra. How art thou? Thank you for joining us. So yeah. So you're supposed to pray or meditate on prayer. Even when you're not doing a reading, it's good to meditate and pray every day, because this keeps your communication going with the ancestors and the deities. It also gives you advice to sometimes it depends on which deity you plan on speaking with. Sometimes that determines the color cloth that you utilize as well. I know everybody does whatever they want to do on their altar. I personally use specific candles for who I'm trying to talk to or what I'm trying to talk about, as well as specific crystals. In the back of Metu Neter book, what chapter was that when it talked about the deities?
Which chapter?
This chapter right here, chapter 19. Chapter 19 is awesome because it's like Pokemon cards for each deity. It has everything in it. It has the different names from the different cultures, the positive and negative aspects of this deity, keynote words, keynote mantras to utilize when you're speaking to this deity, the colors, the numbers, and a gemstone, the day of the week, the planet, and all that's associated with this deity is legit everything you need to know in chapter 19 about each deity when you want to speak to them.
And weakness and advantages.
Yep, all of that. So if you're coming with a problem with someone, understand that the oracle brings a reading of peace and not revenge. They're not gonna tell you what's right or what's wrong. They're not gonna help you attain material wealth. Nothing's like that. The oracle basically just gives you a guiding outlook on what it is that you're supposed to be doing or the decision that you're supposed to be making. There's a lot of different misconceptions about what an oracle does and what an oracle the messages that an oracle brings, and that's where a lot of the disbelief comes in because of these outlandish expectations of what an oracle can and can't do. But it really is just a guide. It's not a specific answer, because you could get the guide, and the guide could influence you to make a different decision, and that different decision that you make could change the whole outcome. Hey Steve, what's good with you? So yeah. And when you receive an answer from an oracle, meditate on the answer that you receive. Don't repeat your question. Don't test the oracle, because when you test the oracle, you're messing up with the frequencies. And when you mess up with the frequencies, your reading won't be correct. Also, don't ask questions regarding getting away with an immoral or unlawful act. It's not going to work. Page 358 has suggested questions that you could ask. It also advises women to not utilize the oracle cards or give anybody a reading of any type while on her menstrual, because the moon affects our menstrual cycle. So when you have the moon, you know, frequencies like super on you, it kind of affects how the cards are. This is opposing to tarot reading, because when I learned about tarot reading actually allows the person who's having their tarot read to touch the cards. That's actually an important part. But in this, no one is supposed to touch the cards but the oracle. So
it says like you have to get like a I guess a stick if most, or like a pointer.
Yeah, like a stick or a pointer, but they're not supposed to touch your cards because your cards are your cards. Chapter 22 goes into different steps, the different suits of the cards. We're getting deeper into the cards. When I get the cards, I think I'm going to do videos showing you guys the cards, and we can get well acquainted with the deities and the readings and stuff like that.
And maybe we can even like do a fortune.
Yeah, I would like to get into that. I would like to be, good enough to do that.
It's like a random day. Oh, who wants to get a fortune?
The cards are like super hard to find.
But how are they hard to find?
So hard to find, because there's a lot of tarot cards around, but like the cards like specifically for this book, they are very hard to find. Even the cards where they say like they're selling them, they're not selling them. But chapter 23 is titled Underlying Principles of the Practice of Meditations and Rituals. And it just goes into meditation. Page 383 talks about the different awake stages of life. On the A side, you have introverted. And what is normally called sleeping is the unfocused introverted state. The introversion of consciousness is the cause of the detachment from the environment, and the unfocusing is the cause of the undirected stream of imagery, which we call dreaming. Being awake is 1B, and that's the focused and active extroverted state, with minor periods of 2B, which is focused, awake, relaxed, and that's considered as daydreaming. And this adds up to about 18% of our mental states. And when we add it to the 3A state, we see that most people are using about 35% of the potential of their states in consciousness. So we're usually awake and active, which is extroverted, which we know is left brain. And the remaining 65% corresponds to the states of trance, which means of accessing the unused portion of our brain, which is the left side. So we don't really use the left side of our brain, which we should use more. And that's the focused, awake, or relaxed on the 2A side, which is introverted. And then this chapter also goes into breathing. It talks about breathing through your abdomen instead of breathing through your chest, and the amount of breaths that you're supposed to breathe. Oh, I read a really good section about breathing and stuff like that too, because you know how everybody talks about like the mark of the beast being like 666, and that's supposed to be carbon, protons, and electrons. So come to find out, the average breaths per minute that a person takes is 18, which is 3 groups of 6. And that's why it's the mark of the beast, because your lower self is your animal self. So beast is synonymous with animal. So when you're breathing at 18 breaths per minute, you're breathing through your animal spirit. Are you practicing breathing right now? Okay, cool. So when you're breathing at your animal spirit level, and that's why it's the mark of the beast. I'm pretty sure like all of those numbers coincide with one another with the 666 and everything like that, because that is all still physical outward 10 sphere stuff, which is your animal spirit and your lower self. So that was like another cool fact. And actually what you want to be doing, it talks about the different ages that we've had too. Right now we're in the Iron Age. I'm pretty sure everybody kind of knew that already or didn't know. I don't pay attention to everything that I should be paying attention to. But anyway, you can go, when you're at 9 breaths per minute, then you can go to 7.5, 6, then 4.5, then 3, then 1. And these are the different yugas, which is what they call it. There was like one specific page that had like it all added up really nicely. But all that to say, the less amount of times you're breathing per minute, um, the more you are accessing your right brain, the higher you're going in consciousness. And by you breathing out so shallow, you are not getting your full breath that you can breathe inside your lungs, and you're also not exhaling, to your full potential either. So you always have like carbon dioxide left in your body. This also does not help with healing at all. That's why, like, when you go to self-heal yourself, or you're doing yoga, or I do Pilates. I have been doing yoga because in the book, in the first chapter of the book, it says there is no use in reading this book if you're not going to apply what you read. So this last week, I've definitely been working on my yoga. I've been really emotional. My life has been like falling apart from the inside, not on the outside, on the inside. And so, like, I had a moment where I had to, work on my breathing and stuff like that. I've definitely been, applying the things that I learned. Okay, yeah. So medium mystic trance induction takes about 7.5 breaths per minute. The depth of breathing is slightly greater than normal, but not too deep. And waking trance takes place at 4.5 and 3 breaths per minute. And the following chants are to be done, and then they have the chants in between the breathing, which is something that I need to work on, the chants in between the breathing. There was one goddess, I do not know her name, and I am so sorry. I hope that she sees this. I was watching her her Facebook story, and she was actually chanting while she was breathing. And I meant to put a pin in it so I could look at it later, because I definitely wanted to watch someone do it so that I could do it. Shout outs to you for doing that, and please do it again. And it just goes on about how electromagnetic radiations of plants, gems, colors, odors, etc. are also similarly cataloged, as well as your breathing and yoga and so on and so forth. So that's pretty much it for this book. This was an awesome read. I definitely recommend this book. When a lot of people on Facebook have like, oh, what are the books that you think every, Wiccan or Black person or whatever, what have you, should read? This is definitely like a go-to book. This was a very good read. For those of you who are just joining us, we just finished this book. We have been reading it for the month of June together, and this has been a great journey. It has been a very great spiritual journey, with me and my kid.
I have a question.
What's up?
So if they don't feel like going to the PDF, how much does the actual book, the first one, cost?
Okay, good question. I got this by the grace of God for $35. If anybody lives in the Virginia area, I got this from Norfolk, Virginia at Conscious Planet. Beautiful store. And I got this for $35, which is way cheaper than what they're selling it online. It's actually $50. But if you guys go on my Instagram page or my Facebook page, I have the free PDF file. You can print it as you like, or you can print whatever pages you want to print, or whatever, what have you.
You said after we were done with the melanin one, you said we were also going to see the second one.
Yes, the second
But
one.
how much does that one cost?
The second one, I believe, is $35 to $40. And the PDF file can also be found on the same website as this one, if you guys would like to go the free route and get the PDF file. Beforehand, yes. Because the book that we're going to start next Monday,
it's a book we already have.
Yeah, it's a book that we already have. It'll be The Science and Myth of Melanin by Dr. T. Owens Moore. That's the next book we're reading. So to wrap this book up, I gave me and Zeke a task to write the top 10 things that we have gained from this book that we would like to read more about on our own time, spiraling off of this book, information that we will carry with us from this book, and so on and so forth. This will definitely not be the last time we read this, but this was definitely a good read. So you want to go first?
Yeah, I'd like to apply that. I actually want to try the diet.
The diet?
Yeah, I want to see how it works out.
Okay.
Since I am a Leo and all, I think I'll try garlic or something.
Okay.
We do have a lot of peppers.
We do. And I think that that's something that you need to research and spiral off of. What he's referring to, which is also something that I wrote that I got from the book, which was my number 5, was the 4 fundamental temperaments. And in the book, I don't remember the chapter, but I have my notes out, so don't worry about it. I won't be going through pages like forever. Um. So yeah, there's 4 fundamental types of temperaments. The 4th sphere of creativity. Thank you. The 4th sphere of creativity. You have your non-ferocious, which are your predators, and they're fiery. That's hot and dry. And those are your tigers, your lions, carnivores, your fire sign people, your spicy herbs, your spicy vegetables like peppers and garlic and things of that nature. Then you have your ferocious non-predators.
But then which one would you be?
Me? I'm Earth, so I'm non-passive, non-ferocious, cold and dry. I'm with the hyenas, jackals, scavengers, omnivores. So if I'm cold and dry, I'm not exactly sure what plants go into cold and dry. So I have to look that up. That's bad. Yeah, so you have your non-ferocious, non-predators that's the air sign. And these people are hot and moist, and those are your rhinos, your elephants, your vegetarians are hot and moist. I didn't really put any types of plants or anything like that. That's something that I would like to spiral off of to find out like the different herbs and plants and stuff that go into these 4 fundamentals. And that way we can get a better idea on the diet and how to have a balanced diet. Because it's really all about touching all 4 of the fundamentals, not just the one you resonate with. In fact, sometimes it's not good to only eat the one you resonate with.
That's what I asked last time. But you said it was good because you didn't know yet.
Oh, well, I was wrong. So
that was like, I think that was last time, or like two other ones before that.
Oh, okay. See, you know what? I got the TV screen up here, but it probably wouldn't even show up if I did the cross thing. But it's like a cross, and it has water and fire on the top and bottom, like north and south. You have water and fire, and then you have earth and air. And water is your non-ferocious, right? No, but if I show it on the TV, it's going to be blurry and they're not going to be able to see it. But if you have water on top, that's your non-ferocious. And you fire on the bottom is ferocious. And then over on this quadrant where you have water and earth, you have cold. And then over in this quadrant where you have water and air, you have moist. And over in this quadrant in the bottom where you have fire and air, you have hot. And over in this quadrant over here where you have fire and earth, you have dry. So you have these 4 quadrants, and this is the 4 quadrants that crystals, minerals, vitamins, herbs, plants, humans, cultures, all of that, planets, days of the week, all of that fall into these 4 quadrants.
Wait, so I do this, right?
Facts.
You are over here, right?
I'm at the bottom, live my best life. Hot, cold and dry.
Where my finger is, like right here. Cold and dry right here.
Cold and dry is on this side where the earth is. I'm earth sign. Oh. And you're fire, so you're down here because you're hot and dry. And I'm earth, so I'm on that side where I'm cold and dry. We just some dry ass people. All right, so what's your next one?
The other one I wanted to see was posture and breathing.
Posture and breathing.
I need to get that down.
Facts.
Have pride.
Yep, we definitely had this talk yesterday about him carrying himself and having pride in himself, because God don't bless no mess. And when you look at yourself as like, there's a God within you, when you put effort into yourself, you feel better about yourself. You make better decisions. I know when I start my day off, right, my day goes right, thereafter, like I done worked out, I done meditated. Now I'm being productive for the rest of my day. I'm feeling good. My energy is up. I'm putting effort into how I got dressed, and I'm starting to attract that positive energy back and all of that. So that was the talk that we had yesterday about him taking pride in himself and how he carries himself. So that's what's up. I'm glad you put that down there. You be listening to me? Go ahead, keep going.
Okay. Then I actually put in some of the notes you put in. It was about the trance. The in-breathe occurs. I put that in there too, how to breathe.
Okay.
I put all the steps in here as well. But I actually took like 3 of them because of how big it was. Then I also put down about my spirit, the animal spirit, the Kahabit.
Finding your animal spirit?
Yeah, control it.
Respect. Okay, so for those who missed and don't know what he's talking about, at one point in time we were talking about the 12 stages of manifestation and meditation and ritual, and it was two scenarios. It was this man who had wanted a promotion at his job, and there was a woman who wanted to have children, or vice versa. It doesn't matter. When they come in, one of the first things they do after reading about Asar and so on and so forth, they also had to visualize as they were chanting and breathing, but they had to visualize themselves with the animal head, and the animal head that they visualized themselves with, or just the animal in general, was the animal that represented the behavior that they were trying to overcome. One example I gave was losing weight, and when you want to lose weight, you think of yourself, you think of why you want to lose, what's preventing you from losing weight. And for some people, it's you can think of sloth. You can also think of a pig for greed. But we'll go with pig for greed. Okay, so like you envision this pig, and you're supposed to envision yourself destroying this pig, because that's you in your mind destroying that element of you that's preventing you from doing what
like
you want to do.
Like how Miles does it.
Yeah. So a lot of things that I wouldn't say that I walk around proud of, but a lot of things that I acknowledge as being a part of my algorithm, as far as like crystals and herbs and your spirit animal and your zodiac and all that stuff is your 10th sphere, your 9th sphere self. Those are all lower level things. So to hold on to your zodiac, or to hold on to your animal spirit and all that for dear life, and say, oh, this is me, this is who I am, this is who I am. This it's good to embrace your lower self, because sometimes all you need is your lower self to solve different issues. But this is not the only person within you should be holding on to. An individual has seven bodies within him, and that was actually one of the things that I learned while reading this book that I have on my top 10 list is Man's 7 Bodies. And the Man's 7 Bodies is, I'm going to find it because I folded the pages. Where is it?
And then we go to fundamental advertising.
Right. Well, you can go ahead and read your next one while I find my Man's 7 Bodies.
Well, all right. And then I also put in like how Black culture is is basically the foundation, or it's still like in the veins of all cultures. Praying over food, for example, like you told me when we first talked about it, like the first 5 chapters.
Yeah, this book definitely opened my eyes to like how our original culture, our divine, spiritual cultivation kind of laid the foundation for a lot of the religions that we celebrate today. And it's not just the belief. I know a lot of people get caught up in the beliefs of different religions. If you take away the release and you just look at the practices that are in religions, as far as praying over your food, being in a trance-like state when you are speaking in tongues, or dancing, the idea of Jesus coming inside of you, catching the Holy Ghost, all of those things are spiritual cultivation of our original spiritualism. We just change the words. But if we change the words back to where they're supposed to be, and change the way we manifest things, we basically have the code. We're just missing a few elements. A few elements have been misconstrued. That's all. It's a person on my Facebook page that plans to decode the Bible, and I asked them to please tag me in it, because I would like to join them on their journey of decoding the Bible. My Instagram account is @lessnobodies_collection. It's also on Facebook, Less Nobodies. You could also find it. You could also find it on my personal Facebook page too, Sunshine Monet. It's a picture, and it has in neon pink letters Metu Neter, and you'll see the book Metu Neter. Underneath that in the comments is the actual PDF link. But yeah, okay, so I found the man's 7 bodies. The first body is the seat of consciousness and identity. This is the true ego of being. The second and third are the creative organs of being, the will and spiritual realization of power. The fourth is the administrative organs of being. This programs one with the laws that will enable them to achieve their respective goals without violating each other's spheres of interest. The fifth is the specializing organs of being, and this is where the manifestations acquire the spiritual qualities that will distinguish them into families and separate existences. The sixth is the motive power of being, where each manifested thing receives its breath of life or electromagnetic motive force for those that are non-living to enable it to act on the physical plane. And the seventh body is each manifestation is segregated into individual existences, which is achieved by receiving a physical body, which separates each thing in time and space. Because, no two things can share the same time and space. So those are the 7 bodies that man has. So I'm not crazy. There really is a whole bunch of people in here. I'm just playing. Is that all your 10?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's all my 10. But what about yours? You didn't say yours yet.
Okay, so
I know you said that one of mine was also yours.
Yeah, the 4 fundamental temperaments, the man's 7 bodies,
the posture and breathing, the pride.
Yeah, I didn't put that.
Oh, well then what did you put in place for that?
I have right brain versus left brain. I thought that was a really cool concept that I never paid attention to, especially with how like politics right now are always talking about the right side and the left side, which is like super opposite from what the right brain and the left brain is supposed to be. So according to my notes on chapter 2 of the Metu Neter book, right brain is, speaking towards Black people, and it's also more specifically Black women are the closest to God because of their frequencies and their relationship with the planets and the moons. Anyway, so right side is introverted. It deals with the burial of the dead, grave offerings, ancestral communication, high recognition of women. Strong point is trance, and it regards socialism in high regard, and it believes in celestial hierarchy. Whereas the left side is more so white and extroverted. They cremate their dead and expose them to be eaten by animals. They're negative towards spirits. This is why they won't. Never mind. It holds women and female power to low esteem, low regard to social stratification, love of freedom from authority, separation from religion and spiritualism, from institutions, and restrictions of time and day, and separation from healing. So when I learned about the right and left brain and how actually, while these are so different and while one seems negative, while the other one seems positive, they actually complement each other. Because if you have too much of the right brain, you have a lot of spiritualism, yes, but you don't have a lot of tools. You don't have a lot of technology. You don't have a lot of objects as means of survival and relaying messages and so on and so forth. If you have too much of the left brain, you have what we have going on now, where you have a lot of devices, you have a lot of outward tools, but you're only relying on those outward tools. Like even in spirituality, like we're only relying on outward tools. We're only relying on books and gemstones and herbs and teachers and Bibles and churches, but nobody's going inward because nobody really trusts the inward voice. I see a lot of people on my page make jokes about the inward voice not being God or whatever, what have you, because of, I don't know why, but it doesn't matter why. We have to change that. But when you have both at an equal, at an equilibrium, that's the best way, because you will have your spiritualism. And hold on, you have your spiritualism, but you also have your tools to enhance your spiritualism, to spread the word of your spiritualism, kind of like what this is now. Like we have gone inward, we have read this book, we have talked about what resonated with us. We've spoken to God, we prayed and meditated. You see my child over here breathing and stuff like that. But we're also using the tool of the left brain. We're on the internet. We're utilizing a microphone. We're utilizing a laptop. We're using left brain items to project the right brain mentality. So when you have those two things coming together, That's the best combination. That's the best way I can put it. And what's happening right now is we have left brain individuals or culture taking over right brain activities. So when it comes to spiritualism, when it comes to law and policing, you have the left brain taking over, which is not okay, because now we have all this division. Even in the book, it talks about you can write as many laws as you want down on paper, but if you're not teaching people how to go inward and rehabilitate themselves, all those laws you write on paper are irrelevant, which it stands true and is very obvious, because if it wasn't, you wouldn't have so many people getting caught with breaking the law. I talked about this before, we have this stereotypical joke about the black man going to jail and then coming out being a member of Islam, or becoming this super conscious person all of a sudden. But that's the goal. You want that level of rehabilitation when one does wrong, you know what I mean? But yeah, so anyway, I went in. I also resonated with the subjective versus objective plane, and what that was the subjective is supposed to be inward, introverted. This is energy and matter can take any shape or form. This is your consciousness and will, and they don't have the same limitations as energy and matter. This is where everything is unlimited. And then you have the objective realm, and the objective world differentiates the original energy matter into things, and this is what gives beings experience. So subjective realm is life, while the objective realm is living. And another example was being versus doing. I like that. The 10 spheres of the tree of life, which I appreciated. I appreciated how this was broken down in means of faculty of man's spirit, initiation, manifestation, creation, meditation, and ritual. These 10 spheres have been broken down numerously throughout the chapters, which I appreciate, because the more it broken down, the better it helped me grasp it. And pretty much in a nutshell, it's basically acknowledging your lower self starting at the 10th sphere. And that's where most of us are at now. We're between a 10 and an 8. And we have, knowledge of the things that God put on earth for us to utilize to enhance our electromagnetic force and to enhance our spiritualism and stuff like that. But we haven't gone above that. We're still not going inward enough yet, because we are still outward with divisions and titles and labels and so on and so forth. When you get to your highest level, it's really about separating your emotions and becoming so far away from your lower self that you no longer recognize your lower self. I remember saying earlier, because I saw Nipsey Hussle's mom say what she said on the BET Awards, and I'm just like, and a lot of people are saying, oh, she's crazy. And I can't even remember the mindset that I had once upon a time to even say that she's crazy. Like, I can't even empathize with that mindset anymore. Like, I understand why people don't get it, but it's just like, wow, like, your mindset changes as you don't even realize it. But my mindset should be even further from this, where I'm at. This is, I'm only on the 9th sphere of my life right now. So yeah. What else? I had the 4 fundamental temperaments, the story of Asar, which I use all the time now, especially when I'm, motivating people or talking to people about elevating themselves or different issues they may come towards as far as getting your goals. And that basically just talks about how there should be an equilibrium between your yin and yang, and how it will always be at a standstill, but you got to, learn how to utilize both at an equilibrium. Emotional separation, something that I'm working on, separating yourself from your feelings, because when you separate yourself from your emotions, you're able to accomplish so much more. I'm realizing that emotions do limit you, and fear and anxiety and depression are definitely major emotions in this world today. These are definitely emotions that are being promoted in the media today. And it's keeping us stagnant. It's keeping us afraid of fighting for our sovereignty. We're fighting for, we're fighting for little scraps that we can get while we can get it. But it's less than what we deserve, and it's less than what we should be passing on to the generations to come. So, I'm getting there to the point where I'm really separating my emotions from situations. The guide on oracles and deities, of course, I love the Pokemon chapter, the Pokedex chapter on deities, in the readings, and also like you said, the establishment of civilization and stuff. Because there's a lot of things that I didn't know that was a lot of civilizations that I didn't know was run by Black people. And also when I read about the different civilizations in the Bible, I don't know why, I just don't really think of them as like that big.
I can use it?
No. I don't know why I didn't think about them. I don't know what kind of box or whatever I put them in, but I just didn't. It sounds weird saying it out loud, but I just didn't. And also a place and time for everything, which is on page 261, which goes along with you saying about you wanting to change your diet, but also changing the times that we eat. And how
we actually did start doing that.
Yeah, we did start doing that. We started doing this week. We started eating our large meals in the middle of the day and doing snacks leading up to the meal and leading down. But I don't even eat breakfast. My first meal of the day is usually at 12 o'clock or 11 something. Like I just had my first meal of the day a couple of minutes ago. And that's my large meal of the day, and then after that I'll do like little snacks or whatever. So that's definitely something that we've been trying to practice. What are you doing? Stop. That's definitely something that we've been trying to practice and stuff. Oh, but getting back to the times of the day, I really like this too because this puts the zodiacs into another perspective as well. And I just wanted to read to you guys what the time of the day is now for us, because the last time we went over this, we were in a different time zone. So we're in the South, and this is from noon to 3 p.m., June 21st to August 5th. And we're dealing with the deity Herukuhuri and I know I'm going to butcher this, and Wachet. And these two deities deal with law and order and equilibrium. So with that being said, your sympathetic is at its height. The earth is in its extreme point of heat absorption, and your body has lost an excessive amount of moisture. Your extreme lack of moisture, and in parentheses it says emotional factor, has brought you to your point of greatest insensitivity and fearlessness. It is most auspicious for those undertakings that require lack of fear of bodily harm, hard work, and zeal. As you lack moisture, make sure that you do not engage at this time in protracted undertakings. Be careful. Do not forget to ask what is right. Do not take the exhaustion of your moisture to its limits.
Limits?
Message.
Limits?
Illness will visit you in the north. Watch your blood pressure. June 21st, the summer solstice, is the most auspicious time for your Wachet faculty. And this is, and what that is the unison of your higher and your lower being. And read Shakespeare's Midsummer Night's Dream and while away the 4 days and 4 nights in sleep, chanting, and fasting. Like Bottoms, you will be able to play any role you choose, and Puck, you will make all your desires come true. Your parasympathetic has begun to rise, but it is still underground, putting out less sympathetic. So that's pretty much the description of what it is for the summertime, because this is from now till August 5th. So yeah, this was a good read. I enjoyed reading this. Yeah.
Are you done?
Yeah. Seems like we're done. We did a good job. I hope you guys enjoyed reading this with us. I hope you guys learned as much as we learned and all that fun stuff.
Is it different? Like the PDF file? Like the thing I made?
No, it's not different. It doesn't look like a book. It looks like photocopy paper.
Hey, Mom, really?
But it's not something that you can't read. Like you can print it out and stuff like that. You can read it in there, because the first time I tried to read this book was like
no. But will they be able to know
5 years ago?
Like if they were going to read along with us, will they be able to like?
Oh, navigate?
Yeah, navigate.
Yeah.
They will.
It's a little. I mean, it's not as easy as this, but that's because that's my personal opinion, because I like books. I like to touch and hold books.
And then my opinion. Like that YouTube channel.
Read stuff like that.
So my opinion, like that YouTube channel.
Can you do me a favor? Can you go get the book for me off the bookshelf? It's off the top of the bookshelf. I just want to show you guys. Thank you. That's nice.
It's a 10 title now. You want it?
Thanks.
What?
So I just want to show you guys the cover of the book that we're going to be reading next. And next Monday morning, hopefully, if all goes well, if not Monday morning, then definitely Tuesday, we will be coming together to go over the first chapter or so. And this is called The Science and the Myth of Melanin. And this is by T. Owens Moore. You got it?
The picture's on the back.
Yeah. This is his picture on the back.
Oh, yeah.
And as you can see, it costs $15. I got this a long time ago at the Source to Knowledge bookstore in Newark, New Jersey.
How many books did you get from that place?
I got so many. I was going there all the time. Shout